Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Kernels, a pop of professional development. The idea of Kernels is that it's a short 30-minute look at some library practice or information that you can use to immediately take into your daily practice. And one of the things that's really great about it is our goal is to interview in-practice librarians about what they are doing, innovating, and thinking at their libraries. So this is Kernels from the State Library of Iowa. I am Angie Manfredi. I'm the Youth Services Consultant for the State Library of Iowa. And I am joined today, our guest at Kernels today is Mallory Inman. And Mallory, I've already forgotten what your job title is, so I'm going to let you tell us.
I am the Youth and Teen Services Librarian at Norwalk Easter Public Library in Norwalk.
Excellent. I knew it was something very similar to that along those lines. So Mallory is here today to tell us about something I heard about her talking about in one of her meetings, and it blew my mind, and I knew we had to have it as a Kernels. And so she's going to talk today about something I think that is super relevant for our socially distanced COVID time, but I also want you to think about ways that you can take this into the library in any setting, and ways that it might be useful to so many segments of your library. So I'm going to let Mallory do a lot of the talking, but I am going to hop in and ask her clarifying questions. The one thing I want to say before we get any further, this information that Mallory is talking about, she might reference a resource list, or she might talk about this is a compilation of information that will be available. Some of it is available right now in the show notes if you click on the show notes on YouTube, and the rest of it is available for Iowa librarians. If you are viewing this through Iowa Learns, it's available through that system, and it's also available on the State Library of Iowa website. So it is super findable. And also Mallory and I will tell you multiple times our contact information at the end of this. And we would love to hear from you if you can't access it those other ways. So with that having been said, I'm going to turn it over to Mallory. Mallory, what is Storytime in a Bag?
So I did these kits that are sort of a take-home story time. So the reason I did them is because we're not doing in-person story times right now. And we were doing some live story times on Facebook Live, and that got complicated because everyone's online a lot. The permission publisher stuff is always changing. So we decided to focus more on things that people could take and do at home. So these are, I have different themes, and I've been doing about 2 a month of these. We've got our second one out now, and I'm working on our third one. And they are just a bag that anyone can get when they come into the library, or if they want to do curbside pickup, they can get it that way too. And it just has an activity, stickers. I will open it up and show you everything that's in it, but I closed it with pretty washi tape. So the front just has a list of what's inside and the theme, and then the newer editions also have information about the videos that go along with these, which I'll talk about later, right in front, because I don't know how much everyone reads the paper that's inside, which I understand. So, pull everything out. This is the first one that we did. So, it has a sheet that says take home storytime colors, and then at the top here it says why colors, and that is the part where I have some early literacy tip kind of things about what I was thinking about when I put this together. So it says comparing things that are the same and things that are different helps brains get ready to tell letters apart later. And talking about the names of colors helps children learn how words connect to real things in the world. So it's not just that I was like, colors are pretty, but I also was sort of thinking about how it connected to early literacy. And then it says that there is a bookmark with a list of recommended books about colors. And these are all books that we have in our library with our call numbers, but there are a lot of books about colors. So I've got that, and I also did a display with a number of these books plus other books about colors, and then a sign to ask us about getting a kit. And then it says rhymes and songs, and to check out the YouTube channel to see me sing the song, but it also has the words and says sing to the tune of the Muffin Man. So for this one, the song was can you find something red today, red today, red today, find something red today, then clap your hands. And then for the video, I like looked around and then pulled something red out and then encouraged them to find something red in the room where they are and then clap their hands and then to repeat it with different colors and different actions. So it's something that they could easily do at home. And even though I do have a video with me singing the song, I wanted all the information they would need to do it on the sheets so that if they don't have the internet or don't want to watch the video, they don't need to, but it is there. And then it has the art activity, which is 4 pieces of construction paper, a baggie with squares of tissue paper, and a glue stick, because I really wanted to make sure that everything people needed to do the activity was actually in the bag. A lot of people have a glue stick at home, but maybe it's lost, maybe it's dried up, maybe they don't have one. So it's there, they've got it, everything you need is ready. So all they need to do is just, you know, it's just a collage. So they could use this to make a shape, they could draw on it, they could make it more complicated, or they could just explore glue and crumpling pieces of tissue paper. So I really wanted it to be accessible to a range of ages. So you could definitely do this with a toddler, but a preschooler might make it a little more, you know, complicated. So that is almost everything, but I also, in every single kit that I'm making, I'm including stickers. And so this one was one I found that was these adorable little snails. Don't worry, I have the link to this in the resources because they are very cute. And then a sheet that has, it is upside down, a sheet that has the color names. So they could just stick these to things, but I did get some feedback from someone who didn't realize that their child was able to read all of these words until they actually matched all of the snails up with the colors, which is awesome too. So they can kind of do it how they want it. So that is everything that is in one of the kits.
And so that was colors the first one you did?
Yep, colors was first.
And what can you tell us a little bit about what the patron reaction to it was, both when they saw them and then if you heard any feedback about after they used them?
Yeah, it's been very positive. I think a lot of people actually didn't realize that we had them, but our front desk staff have been awesome about offering them to people, especially if they are with kids. And we've also posted them on Facebook and Instagram and all that. And it's just really nice to be able to have something to give people, especially when we're telling them, you know, that we're not doing in-person story times right now, and that they're looking for more things to do at home anyways. So it's been really fun to have something that people can take and the kids walk out with their little packets. And I really wanted to make sure that even though these are pretty small and inexpensive of a project, that they looked cute and colorful and fun so that people would be excited to take them. And then as we've done them more, I think there's been a lot more word of mouth, because our second one, we've gotten a lot more actual requests for, so I can tell that people have been talking about it.
And you mentioned the word everybody likes to hear, which is inexpensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how, if you have a price per, or roughly how much would you say it costs to make, and how many did you make?
So I did the math on the first one, and we already had the tissue paper, and I didn't include printing costs, but everything else in there, including the glue sticks, which it turned out were only 30 cents each. The first one was $1.09 per kit. And so that was really my goal, because when I started thinking about what we could do for some kind of Storytime kit. I at first thought big, like we could send a thing home with books and shakers and all this stuff, and I still think that's a good idea and I still want to do it. But it would be expensive enough that either we would need to get the things back and then we would need to think about cleaning them, or it would just be expensive and we wouldn't be able to make as many. So the reason that I started out with something like this was because I'm aiming for it definitely under $2 per kit. Most of them are $1 to $1.50 or so. It kind of depends on what I put in them. But that means that I need 60 of them. And the first one cost me $65, which, is really not bad for something that's serving 60 kids that they can take and keep. So that's.
And I also that has so much to go with it. So like you can use the glue stick for other things. You can use the other 4 pieces of cardboard, the other 3 pieces of cardboard paper for anything. And you can also scale it. So if your library is like, well, man, I can't afford $1, I can only afford 50 cents, you don't have to put the snail sheets in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can put whatever leftover stickers you have at your library and put them in there. So that other thing, that there's that flexibility for what do you have that can kind of be substituted with it. If you even think like $1 is too expensive, like I can't do that, or I want to make 100 of them and I only have $50. So that kind of, it's scalable as well. So you said you had another one. Can we see inside the other one?
Yes, I will pull it out. And then I just wanted to, while I'm moving these aside, that the other thing I thought about with the packaging was that I put them all in paper bags, and anything I needed to put inside, I put in paper bags, because at first when I visualized it, everything was in a clear Ziploc baggie, so you could see everything that's inside, which is great and appealing, but it means that I'm sending a lot of trash home with people. So I really thought about, and some of the things I bought still come in plastic. What can you do? But I really was thinking about what I was buying for it and what I was sending home.
And also, another thing you could put on there is color on this bag.
Oh, totally.
Now you have 2 paper bags. Can you make a puppet out of a paper bag? It's a lot more. And when you're done with it, recycle it. And so you could even turn the bags themselves into part of the project.
Yeah.
Especially because you use washi tape on the back, so they're not going to rip it getting off the.
Yeah. Yes. And on the later kits, I've actually stopped taking them because it was just coming up. It was very cute, but it turned out to not be necessary. So the second one was dinosaurs.
And why don't you hold that up real close to the screen, like bring it all the way up to the camera? Yeah.
So this is the newer one that also has the information about.
And you hold it up and I'll read what it says, just so we can hear I'll make it sound catchy. Take home story time recommended for age 3 to 5. Inside you'll find 1 dinosaur scratch art shape and scratch art stick, 4 dinosaur coloring sheets, crayons upon request, sticker sheet, list of recommended books about dinosaurs, activity sheet with words to a rhyme about dinosaurs. Watch Mallory sing songs and do rhymes about the theme. Find videos at our YouTube channel or our Facebook page.
Yes, so that's what's inside. So got my dinosaur book list, and on this one I did a mix of nonfiction books that would be accessible to like ages 3 to 5, and then some picture books and some silly ones too. And then the same sort of sheet with a rhyme and some info. One of the tips for this one said, as kids get older, you can use dinosaur books to talk about what's real and what's pretend. Did dinosaurs really do things like play baseball? Because Dino Baseball is one of the books on the list. What did they really eat, etc. And this one has, so I did in some of them put coloring sheets, and for that I set out a basket of crayons next to where we're handing out the kits, and we're just asking people when they get it if they want crayons, and then we're giving those out more like 1 per family rather than putting them into each individual bag, because 1, crayons are a little bit more expensive to put in every bag, and 2, a lot of people do have them at home, and if they don't want another box of crayons, they don't need to take them. If they want them or need them, they can have them. And then this one has scratch art in it. And I did want to say with that too, that we are also doing some take-home crafts for older kids. And for this one, I did scratch art bookmarks for them at the same time, so that if the younger sibling gets the kit, then the older sibling can take a scratch art kit, because once they see how cool scratch art is, they will all want to do it because it's neat. So the ones I bought came with sticks, and we had some old ones from other crafts we had done too. So I was able to put those in there.
And I also thought, when I was reading that amazing dinosaur sheet, can you tell us a little bit about how you made those? What software you used? And
yes, so I used Canva for these. You could easily use another program. The reason I used Canva is that we have a paid subscription, so that we have access to a lot of like really cute backgrounds and clip art and photos and stuff. So that's what I used to put them together. But I also did some of it in Publisher. That's for how I did the bookmarks. So kind of used both.
Okay, because that's a thing people will always ask. So dinosaurs was number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and are you working on number 3 right now?
Yeah, number 3 is going to be fall. So, because everyone's ready, I've stuck leaves and pumpkins all over the place already. So I have not put together the whole kit yet. I'm working on that one now, but the stickers are once again really, really, really cute. So I've got a sticker scene again, and then for this one, I put in these leaf cutouts that I found, because for this song, we're gonna do something that I've done in Storytime before, where I handed out fabric leaves, where we sing, autumn leaves are falling down, falling down, falling down, autumn leaves are falling down and landing on your arm, on your head, on your whatever. So all of these will have a leaf and then the words to that song, so that they can sing it along and, you know, do their leaves. And then for the craft for that one, I also have a link to this in the resources. I found this printable from mominspiredlife.com that's just my fall tree, and then you just buy the dot stickers, and then you just stick the sticker dots all over the leaves, or all over the tree, to make your leaves. So once again, it's like a really simple craft, but they get to pick where they put them. If they want to put them all on the ground, they can do that, you know. So that will be the next one.
And one thing I think too, that I think there's so many ways. One of the things I was really drawn to this as a program, and one of the things I want for the people watching to think about, is the many ways that you can extend this as an activity. So for like example, Mallory, if you wanted to make more content, you could make a video of you making one of the trees. Like you could make a video of you actually sticking the stickers on and saying to parents and to kids, you know, when we do this, we build our fine motor skills with our peel and stick. Isn't this fun, friends? Where do you think? What color should I put down next? Oh, maybe yellow. So they're like that alone. You could even say, if you got a kit, join us this activity, join us to do this activity online. And then if 5 families show up, that's cool, and you do the activity with 5 families and have it. There's so many different ways to extend from this, and none of it involves, how do I get copyright permission to read this book? What if I this? What if I that? If you give out 60 kits and then you have a craft program and 10 of them come, you still gave out 60 kits. And so the 10 focus, I think that's one of the things I want people to really consider, and even look at what Mallory was talking about from the first one, how they were like, oh yeah, that was good, but what if on the front we added the YouTube information? So can you talk a little bit about how how your process has evolved in thinking of them as you've moved from this first kit, hearing patron feedback, onto the 3rd and beyond kit?
Yeah, not too much has changed about them, but I am thinking about how I can add more of the video content, because there are some people who have watched those who, for each one I put up 3 different songs or rhymes, and I'm thinking of doing some more, either doing demos of the crafts or just sort of talking more about what's, you know, what's in them, and, you know, extension activities and that kind of thing, or doing a lot of the so each kit has one song in it, but then more things that I've done that were just on Facebook or YouTube, because those were the ones that had like a flannel board or something where they don't have all the materials, and so those are more just for that. But I could include some of those things in the kit so that they could, you know, do some of the games and flannel boards and rhymes at home too. So I am kind of thinking about how I can put more things in them to kind of extend it. But mostly they've just kind of grown in popularity just because I think people are starting to realize that they can ask for them. So.
And so do you have them featured at the front desk, or are they behind the front desk? Like how does the patron, I like that you talked about the front desk staff talking about them. Or do you have them out? Do people come pick them up, or do you hand them to people, or what is that like?
So we have a like sign at the front desk, sort of like where people wait in line, that says to ask for a Storytime kit. And then I also have one on display with books that go along with the theme. But we do have the actual kits at the desk so that people ask for them, or we ask them.
Push them on people, yeah.
When they're when they're checking out, mostly just, especially now, so that we could assure people that, you know, we put them together when we had, you know, washed our hands, and then they're there until they get them. So.
And can you talk to now, from your point of view as a staff member, as a person who's creating a lot of this content, how has this made you feel? Like, do you feel like less of that pressure of like, I've got to constantly come up with what I can read online and who's going to come to my Facebook? How has that like reduced your workload or changed your feelings? Can you talk a little bit about that part?
Yeah, so it has, like, I think as we've sort of shifted to more of this take home stuff, I think the focus is less on things that are just like what we did before, because when we started doing online story times, it was the same times and the same days that we used to do in-person story time, but most people were watching them later. They weren't watching them live, which made us think, we don't need to do it at exactly the same time and in exactly the same way than we did it before. If I just pre-record a lot of the videos all at once in one day and put them on YouTube, and then people can watch them whenever they want, that's kind of how they were engaging with the live content anyways. And it is a lot easier to film a lot of videos in one day, when I know I have the space and have the time, and then have time to edit them all, put catchy little songs and title cards on them, and put them all up at once. And that way people can watch them whenever they want to, and I don't need to make sure that I have a certain time carved out, which just for the online recording is easier, because if something comes up or the internet's not working or whatever, I can just do it on a different day.
And so you feel like that's been a stress reliever for you?
Yes, it has. And the other thing is that I think we've reached a lot of people that didn't necessarily come to story time, because it's most of our story times are during the day when a lot of people are working or their other kids are in school. And so if they are here on the evening or the weekend, they still can get this and do it at home and watch the videos, and that's cool too.
And the other thing I liked about it too is everybody saying like, oh, we're so tired of online, we're so tired of online. I mean, like, okay, so like it takes that element of it out, but there's still part of, like, it doesn't remove it totally. So there's still like this online component that's going to hook people and they can engage with on their own, but it's not reliant on, you have to be at the library's Facebook page at 11:45 a.m. to 12:15 or you're going to miss it. So it takes out that element, but it still keeps it as like, everybody's tired of online, but that's how we're living. So it kind of marries those two things together.
Right. And I really wanted to make sure that the video components were optional. You can still do the things in the kit and have fun with it. The instructions for the crafts are in there. They're not just on a demo video. Even if I did that too, you can kind of choose how much online stuff you want.
It sounds great. So what didn't I ask you about Storytime in a Bag that you would like to tell anybody? Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like to tell anybody about?
I don't think so.
I want to also emphasize another thing you said earlier, which is it doesn't have something they have to bring back to the library. It doesn't have something that you're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to deal with it when they return? The idea is it's a grab and go. But I also want to talk about, just real quick as our last wrap up, why did you decide to call this story time in a bag instead of just take this, a take and make or a grab and go or a fun kit or even an early literacy kit? Why did you choose the phrase story time in a bag?
I actually, on the kits, they actually say take home story time.
Take home story time. Yeah.
So just because I wanted it to be really clear, like what the intention was. So it's not necessarily that it's a replacement for in-person story time. I excitedly wait for the day when we can safely do those again. And I think they are also important. But the idea is that there's a book list with things you can read at home. There's songs that go along with the theme. There are things to talk about and learn. And so you really are engaging a lot of the different things that I try to emphasize in story time.
You are still talk, sing, read, write, play. You're still using the 5 early literacy skills. Yeah, so to me, that was another thing that appealed about it is that I love grab and go, I love take and make, but I also love the idea that this is, we're trying for you to recreate that storytime experience. And part of the way we're doing that is by showing you why we do it. Like, I don't just read this book to your kid, like you were saying about the color tip. We don't just read this book because it's fun. Here is what goes behind it. And so kind of putting that back into the adult caregiver's hands, I think is really empowering, while it also still reinforces the importance and support of the library staff. So, and again, there's so much room for extension, like talking about, this is our fine motor skills development. We're talking about on and on. And make use of what you have.
Yeah.
You've got it lying around, make use of it. I lied, this is our last thought. What are some themes you're thinking about for upcoming ones?
Well, I definitely feel like the concept thing like colors was successful, and we have a lot of books and activities on those topics, and I know that those are things that people like to emphasize at home. So I'm definitely thinking about shapes and numbers and that kind of thing. Farm animals is one that I'm also working on right now. I found like masks you can color that look like different, like cows and pigs and stuff, and I think that's going to be the craft. And there's a million songs that go along with that theme. So far since we just started these, I can go pretty basic and do some of the standby themes.
Classics.
Yeah, but as it goes on, I might either get a little more creative with that, or do some that are less dependent on specific themes. But those are sort of some of the ones that are definitely coming up.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That was super exciting. And I hope and know that people are going to be like super excited to start doing it at their own libraries at this moment. Mallory, I'm going to ask you right now, and everyone, don't worry, this will be repeated often. Can you give us your contact information if people want to reach out with you to brainstorm ideas about this, to talk about the implementation, if they just want to pep talk about it, can you give us your contact information?
Yes, so I am at Norwalk Easter Public Library, and my email address is MINMAN, it's M Inman, at norwalk.iowa.gov, and that is a mouthful of M's and N's, so I suggest that you find it in the info.
Indeed. And I'm at the State Library, and I hope you all know how to get in touch with me, but my email is just angie.manfredi at Iowa, at State library. I don't even know, Mallory, I don't even know what my email is. This is the most embarrassing moment of my day. It's not. It's not, though. It's not. It's angie.manfredi@iowa.gov. Please feel free to send me an email. I'm always happy to connect. And as a reminder, there is information in I love saying that. There is information in the links, and one of the information is Mallory has made an incredible resource list for you. You want to talk really quickly about what's on the resource list? They can look at it, but if you can just briefly kind of tell people what's on it.
Yeah, so the resource list has a link to our YouTube page where I have the all the songs and rhymes that I did, and then also a link to everything that I purchased online. So because I used some paid clip art and also because it'll be custom made to your library, I don't have the things that I actually put on the kits, but everything that I bought that you can also buy, you will find links to on there.
Excellent. Like the sticker scenes and the glue sticks, all of that is listed on there, the vendors that she used. But we both want to encourage you to use what you have and to use themes that have already been popular in your library, or if you have leftover stickers already, jam those in there. And all the the templates and stuff, anything like that, if you want to talk to Mallory about the wording or how she arranged it, she'd be happy to talk to you about that, and so would I. And again, as a reminder, there's going to be information in the notes right underneath this video, but if you are a librarian in Iowa, you can access this information in your Iowa Shares, Iowa Learns account, and we'll also have a page at the State Library website, so there will be plenty of links. Mallory, thank you so much for volunteering to do this. And if you are a librarian and you want to share something that you are doing at your library for a Kernels, I've got to stop doing that. Please also feel free to get in touch with me. We want this to be a continuing education and continuing project that lasts more than just like 2 videos. So we want to hear from you. I want to hear from what you're doing. I want to hear about what you're doing in your community at your library for another installation of Kernels. And if you like this, check out the others in the YouTube channel and reach out and let us know. And contact me with any questions about the continuing education or other elements of this, and contact Mallory with any questions about Storytime in a Bag. Mallory, do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and thank you especially to Mallory. And we'll see you next time for